Welcome back to Autism Live and to Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy. I mentioned that my better half, Nancy Alspaugh-Jackson, is not with us here today, but you know what? You can never replace Nancy, but I have a pretty fabulous team here with me here in the studio. Sasha George, who I've been stumbling over your name. I don't know why. I don't have my S's working today. Is here with us, and Jess Blocknerin. These are two fabulous people. I just met Sasha, but you know what? You know how sometimes you just meet somebody and you go, okay, no, that's it. We're going to be friends forever.
Love you.
I love you. And last night, as I was looking at things on Facebook, you drew a cartoon of pretty much this moment. And I was so excited. I was like, I think this is me in this cartoon. And I showed my husband. I was like, is that me? I was so excited. I was like, I think that's me. And you know what was interesting? Like, I would never have thought that I would have reacted that way, but I did. And it shows what a powerful thing the talent that you have is. That you can make me go, I was spelling, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, aside from that, so welcome the two of you.
Thank you.
Thrilled to have you here. And what we're talking about, before I get too far off the rails, this is a fabulous new book that's out that's called Strike One. And this book was written by Jess's son, Royce,
yes,
but in conjunction with Sasha.
Yes.
In a little while, we're going to show you a video of showing how some of that collaboration happened, because I think it's really interesting how that collaboration happened and how you facilitated that. And we got to talk more about that. But this is pretty amazing.
Thank you.
When I stop and think about, I'm gonna cry. When I think about the journey that you have been on, to see where you have come out, Miss Jess, I am so impressed with you.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed with your child.
I'm very impressed with my child.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because this has been a tough little road, but what a trophy that, you know, I don't know if you saw, I wrote on Facebook last night, what do you do when your child has been diagnosed with autism and cancer? Apparently, you treat it all and then write a book.
Right.
It's
so therapeutic.
Right? Apparently, this is what you do, and none of us would have known except you showed us that this is what you do. So let's back up just a little bit and give, for people who are just joining us and haven't heard your story, tell us about the journey that you guys had been on.
Yeah, so my son is 10 right now. At 8, he was diagnosed with stage 2 Hodgkin's lymphoma. He was under treatment. He lost his hair. He was receiving chemo. He was the most adorable bald kid you'd ever see in your life.
Yes.
Thankfully, he's been in remission, 2 years now. And he had this amazing perspective through all of it. And he taught all of us something about appreciating every moment and valuing every moment that you're not in the hospital, because that's the only criteria it takes to have a good day. And to pursue your passions, whatever they may be, if you are having a good day that you're not in the hospital.
Yeah.
So since he's gotten out, I've always tried to support him in whatever his passion may be. And one of those things that he really started to do was to write funny and amusing stories. And one really struck me because it just seemed like a giant metaphor about his fight and triumphant fight against cancer, about a hero and about fighting off all these zombies, and that he did it alone, but he, triumphed in the end. And he drew pictures that went with it, and it just seemed like this very complete idea with, character development, all of these things. And it was just always in the back of my mind, like, maybe there's a way to, do something with this, because it truly is a metaphor for his journey that he went through in fighting and beating cancer, and maybe that's part of his journey in processing that experience as well.
Amazing that you recognize that, but then how do you get to the point where you go, I'm going to have this fabulous woman come and see what she can do with it? How did that happen?
So that was very serendipitous, and thanks to Larry and Fullerton Cares, who
how much do we love Larry?
We love
Larry. Larry, if you're watching, you have the biggest fan club in the world. We adore you.
It's all true.
I didn't know that he facilitated that, but that makes total sense to me.
Absolutely. So we're both Fullerton Cares Autism Foundation parents.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
So that makes sense.
Yes. Go ahead.
Tell us what happened.
Well, I'm diagnosed with factor V Leiden, which is a blood clot. I'm fighting for my life every day, and I'm also, at the same time, I have a son with autism. So that's what inspired me to leave my legacy to my child, so in case he can move forth, and which is why I connected very much with Royce in that process of thought. because you want to have something for your family members, the people you love, and then people who need something to fight for in that dream. And that's how we were really able to collaborate. And I wanted him to teach him the story process in a little better way for himself, because he had that, but I don't think he could really evaluate the thoroughness where he could go with the story for his diagnosis.
Yeah.
And you just needed that sort of attentive teaching method, because autism children only have so many focus points. And so it was a really nice way, and he really adapted to that process of watching the drawing, watching the colorizations, seeing the humor, and then it developed. And then he was slowly finding confidence in that. You know what I mean? Because you're surrounded by people who are like, oh, you have autism, and then you know you're going to self-evaluate yourself, even, no matter where you're at. And so I think it boosted him, and now he's grown.
Yeah.
He's really opened up his creativeness, and it's a nice thing to see.
Well, we have a clip that we want to show of you, because people, I'm sure, have questions. I had questions about, so how did this work, and how, I think a lot of times, we watch Temple Grandin and we see her talk about, you gotta, foster the things that your kid is interested in. But a lot of times we don't quite know how to do that. And I feel like you kind of give the master class in that. So Samantha, have we got that queued up that we can show the video? And this is also on Facebook. People can find it on Fullerton Cares Facebook site. But it's just a small snippet of Sasha and Royce talking about his story. Take a look.
Hey, so they start killing off the zombies. There's only a couple zombies left. After a bit, then the zombies is attacked from behind and start killing the humans.
Okay. So humans that saw people coming out of the store, but they're from behind and they come in to help. Is that your counterattack?
Yeah.
Like, it's this. Here's the store area. So if they come out to attack the zombies here, so
Yeah.
then somebody across the street comes in and gets them. Is that what you're saying?
Well, what I'm saying is, at first, like, these are the people, and these are the zombies.
Okay.
And
These are the zombies.
And then slowly but surely, most of the zombies from over there killed out, but then different zombies come from behind.
Oh, okay. Okay. So maybe, yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Back. So pretty amazing. And one of the things that you said while we were watching that, you said he's so focused.
Yeah.
And I think, that's sort of the key, is that when we find something that our kids love and we allow them to have space in it, and we're in it with them and asking them questions and not judging it at all, allowing them, you asked him questions that allowed him to put more into it, they can be incredibly focused.
And that's where a lot we strive for, because we see their stemming and they go in so many different directions, and we look for that sense of their calmness enough to reflect. And art has always been a therapeutic, and creativity has, and to find a way for them to speak through that creative matter is a phenomenal step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really remarkable. Now, had you done this with other kiddos on the spectrum, or is this the first time you collaborated?
No, I mean, I have my children, so I'm always focused on trying to reflect in their creativeness to talk. My son is very regressed. It's hard for him to formulate words sometimes, and it's always, he talks in that first person, I want, mama, I want.
Right.
So, and of course you use the pictures, pictorials.
Yes.
And Royce, he's such I call him the ancient man, because
He's an old soul.
he is very an old soul. And so you have to talk in that manner that depicts his soul,
Yeah.
And they get each other.
And
They're
they-
very kindred spirits.
Yeah.
Well, you clearly have a way about you. that is just soothing. I don't know if it reads through on the camera, but you came in. We've been like high. We've got a lot of stuff going on today. We've been high, and you came in, and I was like, okay, like it just everything
We're all
kind of.
fine.
We're all gonna be fine. Sasha brings that with her, which is fabulous.
Thank you.
So I think in addition, we're going to talk about your books, but I think there might be other people who want you to like collaborate with their kids on something. I think you have a whole side avenue that you can go down that might be very exciting.
Definitely.
But so you are an author and an illustrator yourself, and you have a whole line of books.
I do adult and children's books.
Adult and children's books.
Yeah.
And your artwork is beautiful.
Thank you.
And it's very unique and it's very compelling, right? And the expressions on, it just, I look at it and I go, this is very unique and different and fabulous.
And prolific. She's done all of these in like the last 18 months.
Miffy Moo, what do you do? The Flower Friend, I Wish I Was a Kid, Dan and the Apple, Dan's World Book 1, Dan and Christmas, Dan's World Book 2, Halloween Witch Fairy. I mean, this is very exciting to me. Okay, so where can people go to find out more about you and your books? And I think we have it to put up as well. But
It's sashageorge.com. Very simple. You can type it in the browser.
okay, and then if you want to specifically find the children's books, it's /children, right?
Right, correct.
Okay, fabulous. But this book is especially near and dear to everybody today because of the collaboration with Royce, and it's authored by Royce.
Yes. So they
And co-author and illustrator Sasha George.
Correct.
Okay, and so we can get this on Amazon.
Correct.
Truly wonderful. I'm so excited. And you've given us a couple of copies for us to give away.
Yes.
Our kiddos will enjoy. I just want them to show, to see. So written like a graphic novel.
Correct.
My husband would be so proud of me that I used that instead of saying
I
comic
am very
book,
proud.
right? Because I'll say, oh, well, comic books. And my husband goes, oh,
And
graphic novel.
there's little jokes and Easter eggs through the whole thing. Just like Royce tells his stories through humor. He copes through humor. And the book kind of tells its story through humor.
And it's this whole metaphor about having to fight something that is bad and threatens to take over. So his way of putting into words and into pictures what he was going through. But what's amazing to it, you talked about legacy. And that, because how many years ago did we sit for the first time and we had you on the show and we talked about what this journey is and how, I had never heard of somebody having autism and cancer.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine what it was like for you, Jess. It rocked all of us around you.
Well, and you were so amazing of a friend to me through that. And
Oh
thank
my
you.
gosh,
You know, you always had
I
an
don't
encouraging
remember
word
it
for
that
me.
way.
You sent Royce gluten-free Oreos,
Well.
and things like that. I mean,
I always go to food.
food
It's
is always
unfortunate,
good, though,
but I always go to
and
food.
just those little pieces of encouragement, mean a lot to anyone that's going through something like that. And I just think of you with love because you demonstrated love to us during that time.
I think everybody felt like, what can I do?
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you can do, but it was devastating to watch you guys go through that.
Yeah.
But it was also so inspirational because you had such dignity and courage, both of you, in doing it and getting through that journey. But I remember sitting and talking with you, not this studio, another studio, but sitting and talking with you about how there weren't any footprints in this snow for you. There was nobody that you could look up to when you first started.
Right.
We kept trying to find people
Yeah.
to give you that encouragement of saying, I did this, it's okay, you're going to be fine. And we weren't finding it.
Hard, yeah. And it's so funny because people have actually reached out to me from that show, and there's been, studies that have been done since then. So thankfully, and similar to the book, I think about how, and I know that you think about this too, how can we, benefit people who come after us in our journey?
Yes.
And so
And
if
now-
Royce is able to benefit people that come after him in that journey, then that's a blessing.
The very existence of this book, and I think everybody needs to get it and everybody needs to read it, but the existence of the book so that the next time somebody hears oh, gosh, there's a family going through this, somebody's going to say, oh, I know a family that went through that. And you know what? The kid wrote a book afterwards. Then people go, what?
Yeah.
Like, if that's a possible, okay.
Right.
All right, sign me up
possible.
for that reality.
Right.
Right?
And it's like we all live in that world where we want to believe anything is possible for our
Yes.
kids, because anything is possible for our kids. So
Yes.
if we're able to make things and support our kids and making things that demonstrate that, just like how you referenced Temple Grandin, she says, start your kids 10 years in advance of where you think they're going.